Sonko, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us here at the main local, international and sports news headlines. Now, unusually, we start with sports. There's cause for celebration. The Gambia has won her first medal in the Commonwealth Games since 1970 after judoka Fainjai reached the final in the men's 73 kg category. $1 million water project has been inaugurated at the Sukuta Horticultural Women's Garden. The Human Rights Club of Farato Senior Secondary School have conducted 2 days training for students on how to produce reusable sanitary pads. And in international news, a 39-year-old Nigerian migrant was attacked and beaten to death by a white man said to be in his 30s on Friday in Civitanova Marche town center in Italy. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Sonko. Now, there's cause for celebration. The Gambia has won her first medal in the Commonwealth Games since 1970 after judoka Fainjai reached the final in the men's 73 kg category. In athletics, Wuri Jado missed out on a place in the women's 100-meter semi-finals. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga is currently in Birmingham, and he fastened this report.
The Gambia last won a medal in the Commonwealth Games 52 years ago in 1970 at the Edinburgh Games, with Sektijan Fai winning bronze in the men's high jump. History was made as Fainjai won silver in the men's 73 kg category. He won his semi-final fight against Dito Makastov of Cyprus. In athletics, it was not a good debut for Wuri Jado in the women's 100 meters heats. She missed out on the semi-final place, finishing fourth in a time of 11:50. However, she remains positive despite her performance.
First of all, just putting on the uniform was great. Being on the track with those amazing, talented women was also great. So it was one of first of many races to come. I'm just glad that I went out there, no injuries, went out and performed and did my best.
You finished fourth in the race, 11:50. What do you make of your time?
Definitely a time I didn't want to run. I wanted to run faster, but you know, this is what I can produce today in this condition. So I'll just take it as it is. Next time we'll work on it and hopefully a faster time.
Was there any sort of intimidation facing Ellen Thompson, a world champion, Olympic champion?
Oh no, I'm used to it. I already ran against her in Jamaica, so this was just trying to stay with her as much as possible because I know she was going to come out the block very explosive and she's a strong runner, so it was just trying to stay as near to her as possible.
The Gambia beach volleyball team will complete Tuesday's action for the West Africans as they take on Sri Lanka in Pool A in what will be their second game. Reporting for QTV News, I am Mamadou Gajaga in Birmingham, England.
Now, congratulations to judoka Fainjai. A multi-million-dollar water project was inaugurated on Thursday at the Sukuta Horticultural Women's Garden by WIPSO Gambia, a German-based charity. More in this report.
The water project includes 36 solar panels, 400-liter water tanks, and water pumps worth $400,000. This is expected to increase the capacity of the current borehole for the supply of adequate water to boost vegetable production. Usman Kaur of WIPSO Gambia spoke about the importance of agriculture and some of the areas of their intervention.
This initiative will go a long way in helping women in such a garden, because it is believed that agriculture is important and its significance cannot be overemphasized. Over the years, WIPSO have been serving the Gambian populace by implementing projects that are sustainable to empower youth to be self-independent, to be able to work and earn for themselves. In a nutshell, WIPSO is known for playing an important role in the quest of national development and shall continue to complement government's effort in the areas of agriculture, education, health, shelter, nutrition, just to mention a few.
Mohamed Nyan, the CEO of WIPSO Gambia, explained some of the previous achievements by WIPSO Gambia.
We did
a Ramadan food package, which was roughly 850 food packages across the length and the breadth of the country. That was a great achievement that was covered. We came back at the end of the Ramadan, we gave rice, which is Zakatul Fitr. We gave roughly 625 bags of rice throughout the length and the breadth of the country. In this recent Tobaski that we just had, Wipso Gambia was able to give out 7 cows to the needy Muslims across the country. These are just few achievements that Wipso Gambia have achieved within a short period of time.
Omar Pia Bojang, the founder and president of Wipso Gambia, says Wipso will continue to help the youth, women and Gambians in general to improve their living standards. And he has this advice for the women. I advise you to love each other and stand for each other. Your neighbor's misfortune is your misfortune and your neighbor's happiness is your happiness. So, if you want Allah's blessings and peace at your garden, you should love, appreciate, and help each other. Bintu Gassama, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Agriculture, says water is vital and thank Wipso Gambia for providing such a necessity. She praised Gambian women for their dedication to hard work while urging the women of Sukuta to maintain the boreholes. Other speakers included the women's leader, the VDC chairman, and the contractor Umpact, who carried out the installation. The Sukuta Women's Garden was established over 40 years ago and provides a source of income for about 200 women. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
Now, thumbs up to Wipso Gambia. From that, the Human Rights Club of Farato Senior Secondary School, with support from Farato Senior Secondary School, with support from Amnesty International Senegal, and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education conducted 2 days training for students on how to produce reusable sanitary products. Alaji F. Jallo attended the opening ceremony and he fastened this report.
The training will help equip 50 students with skills on how to locally produce handmade sanitary pads. The project is meant to promote menstrual hygiene and health in schools. At the opening ceremony, Mbara Sen, the education officer from the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, said the training will help the students make reusable parts locally, using locally available materials, and break the unspoken cultural silence by encouraging girls to discuss menstrual issues with their parents and peers.
What the ministry intends to do is, no girl will go home because you are menstruating. And that is why the ministry had ever since rolled out the menstrual parts distribution, which is a medically certified stuff. And we are also very concerned of what we get into the schools. The ministry will never want to infect any Gambian children because their primary responsibility is to protect the girl child. The training is very, very important. You could learn how to make it. You can even end up establishing your own company. So you having knowledge, you are adding yourself another important value of education.
The lead trainer from Gambia Senior Secondary School, Aissatou H. Jallo, said the training is desired to equip the students with the skills to make the reusable parts and its impact compared to the disposable sanitary parts to help them make an informed choice.
I deem it necessary to come here to teach them based on my ability. Let them know the skills and let them know the difference between the disposable sanitary parts and then the handmade sanitary parts, what we call the reusable handmade sanitary parts. It is eco-friendly and then it is cheap comparing to the disposable sanitary parts, because most of our rural girls, we are from a very poor background. Our parents cannot afford to buy the part, because now I learned that it is costing $75. And one part cannot sustain you. You need to go for the first, second, up to third packets of part. That one is a huge lot of money for a struggling parent who is struggling to put food on the table.
Mamajine Jao and Ibrahim Jao, both participants, spoke about the impact of the training.
It will bring a good impact in our lives, because using these sanitary reusable parts, it is very cheap. and it is comfortable in our body.
Today, after getting the knowledge, I promise that when I live here, I'm going to, I have a boys crew where we always sit together. I'm going to sensitize them in such kind of things, because in boys, if you see a girl in men's, normally we do laugh at the person and other things, and then we know that that's bringing a discrimination. So I'm going to sensitize them. This is not something bad. If you see it, know that it's a normal. If just know how to help the individual.
According to UNICEF, 1 in 10 girls in developing countries miss school due to menstruation. The purpose of the project is to promote accessibility to free, reusable pads that will improve access to basic education for girls through supporting the enrollment, retention, and completion rates, and empower them to overcome menstrual frustration. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alaji F. Jalo.
So this particular training happened at Fatoto Senior Secondary School instead of Farato, as earlier mentioned. Apologies. So from that story, we will now go for a short commercial break. And when we come back, we have some more stories for you. Do stay tuned.
I'm feeling on top of the world, like nothing's ever gonna bring me down. This feeling got me flying high as a bird. I may never touch the ground. It may not be my birthday, but I just wanna celebrate.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And that's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus, we innovate, others follow.
From that short commercial break, if you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Jennifer Sonko. Still on local news, Trans-Africa Teleclinics, the Gambia, a new private health clinic in Fajara, opened to the public on Saturday with a grand inauguration ceremony. Alusise has more.
The new healthcare clinic is situated immediately behind Kairaba Police Station in Fajara and will provide quality diagnostic, imaging, remote patient monitoring, and teleclinics, among other healthcare services. In doing that, Trans-Africa Teleclinics purchases high-standard equipment and hired expertise to deliver affordable and excellent healthcare services for Gambians and residents. Dr. Lamin E.S. Jaite, a cardiologist, says they have highly trained and qualified collaborators in US, UK, and Morocco to provide real-time healthcare services. He reveals that the clinic won't initially have inpatients, but they have plans to collaborate with other clinics for admissions.
We will not compromise with quality because we deal with human lives. This is what I always tell people. I say if mechanics make mistake, usually it's the machines that get problem. But if we make mistake, people die. So doctors, we are not supposed to make mistake. We are human beings, we do, but that is what we are supposed to be like. And this is why it takes time to educate a doctor. And this is why our work is not a child's play. So here in Trans-Africa, I can assure you that we have a good team, that we are always going to work as a team to make sure that when you step into this clinic, you get quality health care, because this is what brought you into the clinic.
Zainab Doumbouya, founder and CEO of Trans-Africa Teleclinics, said the clinic is established to, among other things, provide quality health service to all Gambians.
It is the goal of Trans-Africa Teleclinics to provide high-quality healthcare to all Gambians, regardless of their economic status, and to improve their lives through holistic care. You will agree with me that healthcare infrastructure in Gambia, much like the rest of Africa, is significantly lacking in comparison to Western countries, with reference to USA, Canada, United Kingdom. Therefore, our responsibility as Africans is to be educated and learn from Western achievements, to replicate the success to Africa, thus addressing the need for quality diagnostic, imaging, and telehealth clinic for the proper treatment, management, and prevention of disease, which is what we're commissioning today as a tangible example.
The attendees, including Mustafa Yafa, welcomed the new clinic and thanked the founder for conceiving the idea to establish such a facility. Personnel of the new clinic are calling on the public to visit them for their health service needs. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alu Sise.
Now, 14 students were certified on Thursday by House of Hope School after successfully completing 4 weeks intensive training in psychotherapy and narrative exposure therapy, NET therapy. The event was held at House of Hope School in Bijilo. Lole M. Camera was there and fastened this report.
According to the school's officials, the aim of physiotherapy and narrative exposure therapy is to help people with trauma and post-traumatic stress disorders. The students receive training in how to identify patients with post-traumatic stress syndrome and to be able to help them in the healing process. Sana Bairo Sabali, the country coordinator of House of Hope, stated his expectations from the trainees.
We expect the students on one side to be able to go down back to their communities, meaning where they are working from, like the military, the prison services, the immigration department, the fire service departments, for example, and also private NGOs, where they will go back and attend to the clients who are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorders or other mental disorders.
Mr. Sabali appealed to the public to bring out their relatives with mental health disorders so that they can handle it together as a nation. Safiatou Kinte, on behalf of the president of No Health Without Mental Health, the Gambia, states that the charitable organization is working closely with the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to improve and increase awareness of mental health, substance abuse and misuse disorders and their prevention.
So we give free mental health services to people who are vulnerable and they are in need. That extends to even migrants that are deported or that comes from overseas into the country to make sure they have a mental health, their mental health services or challenges are addressed.
Priska Maria Laura, the CEO FK, also spoke about the project.
In the Gambia, all over the world, but also in the Gambia, people, the communities need reconciliation because many bad things happened in the last years. And our organization wanted to take part in that process and to participate and to start with the individuals. If one individual can find peace with oneself, and then peace with the family, or peace with the perpetrator, peace with the opposite, then peace in the whole country can start like small plants.
Abu Jangume Bantawila, a trainer at the school, thanked the management of House of Hope for the opportunity to interact with students throughout the 4 weeks. Lamin Jai, while thanking House of Hope and trainers for the training opportunity, congratulated his fellow trainees for successfully completing the training and promised that they will give back to their communities. House of Hope, the Gambia, is an NGO supported by Asylum and Migration Integration Funds of the European Union in Germany. In 2018, the organization started operations in the country with the aim of helping anyone with trauma and post-traumatic disorders. The schools offer classes in German language and the legal migration counseling. The event was attended by students from the first batch, family members and loved ones. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
From that story by Loli M. Kamara, now let's take a look at news beyond our borders. A 39-year-old Nigerian migrant was attacked and beaten to death by a white man said to be in his 30s on Friday in Civitanova Marche town centre in Italy, in broad daylight and in front of many onlookers. Loli M. Camera again.
Aliku Okochukwu was a Nigerian migrant and a street vendor who sold handkerchiefs in the seaside town of Civitanova Marche until his timely death. According to a police investigator, he was attacked after his insistent request to purchase a handkerchief of some small change were made to the suspect and his partner. This shocking incident has sparked outrage from the Nigerian community in Italy after the video recording went viral by some onlookers who filmed but made no attempt to intervene, as Aliku was first hit with his own crutches and then beaten to death. The suspect, a white man by the name Filippo Claudio Giuseppe Ferrelazzo, has been arrested on suspicion of murder and robbery. And as investigations are ongoing, the suspect has been remanded in jail. Speaking to the media, the suspect's defense lawyer said, and I quote, "The suspect had said he was sorry and that there was no racial element involved," end of quote. Charity Oriachi, Aliku's widow, in her demand for justice, told the BBC's Focus on Africa that she had received help in coming to terms with her husband's death, but was tired of talk. Instead, she is only interested in justice. She says her family had lived in Italy for a long time, and that her husband had never sued any trouble. Meanwhile, the suspect's partner, identified as Elena D., told Italian media that Okochukwu had touched her arm, but that did not bother her. Aliku's widow says she wants to meet the suspect face-to-face to know why he killed her husband. Hundreds of people from the local Nigerian community took to the streets of Civitanova Marche on Saturday to demand justice. The attack has also been condemned by the Italian government and politicians. The Nigerian government has asked Italian authorities to quickly bring the perpetrator of the heinous crime to justice. Italy is one of the several European countries to have witnessed the rise of right-wing, racist political movements, many of whom blame immigrants for all their country's problems. For QTV News, Loli M. Camara.
Sad one there. So news just in, a Gambia men's beach volleyball team won their second match 2-1 versus Sri Lanka at the current Commonwealth Games. Well, congratulations. Now, before we go, let's just quickly recap our main headlines. We started with sports today as there's cause for celebration. The Gambia has won her first medal in the Commonwealth Games since 1970 after judoka Fainjai reached the final in the men's 73 kg category. A $1 million project, a water project, has been inaugurated at the Sukuta Horticultural Women's Garden. The Human Rights Club of Fatoto Senior Secondary School have conducted 2 days training for students on how to produce reusable sanitary pads. And in international news, sad news here, a 39-year-old Nigerian migrant was attacked and beaten to death by a white man said to be in his 30s on Friday in Civitanova Marche town in Italy. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.